Jean-Marie Valhura. What prediction are you bold enough to make at this point in history? All right, go big or go home, right? I predict World War III might happen between 2024 and 2028. Because I fully expect a number of big things to happen in the next 4 years that would bring the world to the brink of another great war, a spectacularly disastrous and destructive one with far-reaching effects for us all. Over the last couple of months, I have seen the popularity of American President Joe Biden plummet. He seems keen to avoid conflicts rather than start them, retreating from Afghanistan, but no matter what he does, he is attacked. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is hinting heavily at a Politican comeback and still has a very large and dedicated following that can grow as his opponent's base of support shrinks. I'd expected the newly elected U.S. leader to maybe fix a thing or two. But he has, at best, lulled the world into somewhat of a false sense of peace. At the same time, Putin is making moves near the border of Ukraine, a non-NATO nation he feels pretty much belongs to him. China, on the other hand, is encroaching on Taiwan and making it rather obvious a military solution is increasingly likely, given the rather massive support for pro-independence candidates in Taipei. All this creates a rather enormous political powder keg, one more dangerous and more fragile than the already tricky situation inherited by the previous U.S. president. So in 2024, I fully expect a then 78-year-old Donald Trump to once again take residence into the White House, making use of whatever problems the current American president struggles with for the next 3 years and attacking him for it, using perhaps his own social media and his news network to propagate his message. The now elderly Trump has lost none of his sharpness and ability to create on-the-spot zingers on live television, but his mental faculties, nonetheless, aren't what they used to be, and he's surrounded once again by enablers and yes-men aplenty. There are certain allies that, if attacked, would force America to act due to old treaties currently in place. Your hands are pretty much tied. An attack happens and you have to move. What more if your leaders have enormous personal egos and want to go down in history, one way or another? It's a recipe for unprecedented disaster. Right now, I still feel we're more or less in a situation where cooler heads might prevail. But cooler heads are being voted out of office all around the head in favor of flashy, unpredictable showmen, and as these flashy, unpredictable showmen age, God only knows what they might do when faced with a genuine crisis. Desperate to make his mark on the world, to be an important figure in world history, and truly stand out, a more trigger-happy president at the helm in Washington, at a time when China's Xi Jinping becomes increasingly desperate to reunify Greater China and conquer Taiwan. It's a political powder keg, and it needs only one spark to explode. Prior defense agreements and commitments come into play, resulting in World War III. 148K views. View 1,269 upvotes.